Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee. And you know what? Because I made pizza dough the other day for you, I always make pizza with it. But it's not just for pizza. So I'm going to show you today, we're going to make a nice big batch just like I do on Saturdays when I make pizzas. But we're going to take and make pigs in a blanket with it. I'm going to wrap some beautiful cheesy smoked sausage with it for the freezer, and it freezes beautifully baked or unbaked. Also, we're going to do some more focaccia bread, and we're probably going to do, I want to do, some cinnamon swirl bread, all with pizza dough. So let's get busy because we got to get this put together. Okay, so with this is a big batch. I'll put the recipe, even though it's under another video, I'll stick it under this video as well. However, I will put the big batch recipe that I'm doing now, I'll also put it for a single batch, and it'll make like 4 or 5 pizzas. Or you can make smaller amounts of your little pigs in a blanket or bread or whatever, cinnamon rolls, whatever you want to make. We're going to do a 1/4 cup of yeast for this big amount. And with that, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, you can do honey. You can use honey as well. Same amount. Okay? I'm also going to put my milk powder in here. And for this batch, I'm going to need 1.25 cups. So I'm going to do 5 of these 1/4 cups because my big cup don't fit in there. I think that's 5. If you put a little too much in, it won't hurt. I talk and I lose count. Oh well. All right, so we're also going to do, I'm putting everything in here except the salt and the flour. And we're going to need 1 cup of oil. Now you can use olive oil or you can use vegetable, you can use any kind of oil. But 1 cup. Seems like a lot of oil, friends, but this is a lot of dough. Okay? All right. Now to this, we're going to add our water. And there it is. I love my husband, but he puts stuff away in the wrong drawer. Then I can never find it. We're going to add 8 cups of water. And then we're going to give it a nice mix. 8 cups of good. You want your water about 110 degrees. So good and hot. Not boiling. No higher than 110. You'll kill your yeast for sure. And if you make it too cold, it'll take forever for it to rise. All right, now we're just going to make sure that is all alive and active. Okay, friends, our yeast is lively. I don't know if you can see it. You can see it's frothy. Perfect, that's what we want. All right, now I got 20 cups of flour here. I have to do this very carefully. I usually just take this right out to my sun porch where I store my flour. And I've got a 4-cup measuring cup. And I just go from there. But I'm not dragging you through my house, so we're just doing it this way. We're going to get all this in here. And it is a lot of flour. This happens to be all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour. I'm just out of my bread flour. And until my order for more comes in, I just use all-purpose. And it works just the same. Okay, we're going to stick that in there. Now, don't forget your salt, friends. We need 2 tablespoons of salt. And that's probably what I got left in here. Okay. I'll have to fill that up. Don't forget your salt. If you forget your salt, and your bread is mixing, you can throw it in there at that time and it'll still mix in there. If you forget it, it will be tasteless. But you could make fry bread, but still, that's an awful lot of fry bread. So try not to forget it. I'll meet you back here, friends. I'm going to take this in because I'm going to mix it in my mixer. Once it's incorporated, that's when I start timing it, and I let this knead for at least 15 minutes. No less than 12 minutes, but no more than 15. And I'll see you back here when we're ready to move on. Okay, friends. This is a load of dough. Now, we're going to do 3 things with this. So, first I'm going to get it out of here. We got a lot of dough in here. Like I said before, we're going to be up to our elbows in dough. How fun is this? I love working with dough. I would love to own a bakery. I would have so much fun. Look at all that dough. I got a little bit at the bottom here I'm going to get out. Otherwise, my bowl is pretty clean. Okay, so now we just want to get air out of it. Roll it in a big ball. Beautiful, hey? Okay. Now, we're going to try to do this in 3 pieces. Okay. All right, that'll work well. Okay, so we'll use this first one for our Pkatcha bread, which is going to be enormous, and that's all right. Get all the bubbles out of there. Okay, so I'm going to use my big cast iron. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to use this one for my focaccia, but you want a lot of oil in there because that's what it is. All right, now we're just going to put that in there, twirl that around so it's everywhere. Okay, see that? Just put that in there that quick and easy. Beautiful. We're going to cover it up. And this is just going to sit over on our stove, and it's going to rise up beautifully. And it's going to be a giant loaf of focaccia bread. Okay. Now this is going to be for our cinnamon bread, or whatever we decide to make with it. We're going to cover that up too. I should have done that right away. See it in there? Beautiful. It'll rise up a little bit. I don't let the bread rise or the dough rise when I'm doing pizza because it rises in the bag that I put it in. So I just put it in in pizza balls right away, bag it up, and then it goes out in my cooler, and it rises in there. Okay, this one's going to rise a little bit. We're going to use this one for our sausages. And if we need more, then we will use the one that we were going to make bread with. And we won't make bread, except focaccia bread. All right, so this is going to have to rise till it doubles in size at least. And that's going to take probably a good hour. So if I can get this to fit on here, I did. All right. We're going to set all 3 of these on our stove and just let them rise, okay? And then first we will do our sausages. We're going to make pigs in a blanket with them. You can bake them before you freeze them, which is nice because you just heat it up in the microwave and it would be good. Or you can just put them together and freeze them unbaked, which I like to do because I like things in the oven. I don't like reheating food in the microwave, but that is 2 options you have. All right, I'm going to let those rise and we'll be back when we're ready to put our pigs in a blanket together. You know what, friends? I did a shorts video on the iced mocha drink, and I've had a few people ask me where it's at. They want to see it, or they want to find it. They want to try it. So you know what? While the bread is rising, I'm going to enjoy a lovely mocha. But I'm going to show you, again, how easy this is to make. I don't need that first. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of coffee, 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar, however sweet you like it. And I just use like 1 1/4. And then you're going to use 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay? And with that, you're going to use about 1/4 cup of water. Just enough to mix it up. All right, then we're just going to mix it. And I mix mine with a fork because it mixes it better, I think. And doesn't splash it all over. But you see that? Get that mixed up really good. Okay, we're going to save that fork because we're going to use that again. Now, we're just going to fill it with ice. Perfect. And with that, we're going to fill it the rest of the way with milk. Okay? Actually, I can put just a little more in there. See that? I need to put this in the fridge. Don't want your milk sitting out. Okay, and you don't have to have Cool Whip. You can leave it just like this, mix it up and drink it. It's wonderful. But when I make it for my friends, I'm going to show you how I do that. I am glad I mix it up a little bit. And you know what I tell them if I didn't mix it? I tell them blow bubbles in it. It'll mix it up real good. But this is what I do. And then I put a little bit of Cool Whip right on top. And I make sure I add a little love. A little bit of chocolate. So then I'm almost out. And it looks pretty. Perfect. I put the lid on. I get these cups from Sam's with the dome lid. And I serve it to them. And that's how easy it is to make a beautiful iced mocha. And they're fantastic, friends. I mean, they're almost addicting. So now I'm going to clean up this little bit of mess. I'm going to go enjoy my mocha with my husband while our bread is rising. And I had to take the focaccia out of that smaller pan. I had to put it in my big 14-inch skillet because there's a lot of dough there. So I'll see you when we're ready to roll our pigs in a blanket and take care of the rest of our goodies. Okay, friends, look at our focaccia dough. We have to put this in a yet bigger pan. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Well, you can see it right here. We're going to drizzle some olive oil on this one. It happens. And we're just going to lift this up and put it in here. Kind of spread it around, stretch it. It stretches beautifully. Okay? See that? Stretches wonderfully. And we're just going to leave it in there to rise up. Beautiful. Let it get a good rise in there. I'm going to dump this oil on it. Perfect. Okay, that can sit back on there. All right, so let me wash my hands and then we're going to put something over this. So, that's a lot of bread. But you know what? It won't go to waste. My friends love this bread. So it'll be just fine. We're going to cover it up. Just loosely. And just set it aside. I'm going to set it in on my dining room table. There, it'll be perfect there. And then I got tomatoes and onions and seasonings to put on that. And I'll call my friends and we'll have coffee and iced mochas and Pkatcha bread. Okay, so this, I think, yeah, this is the one I planned for. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one. Look at that beautiful dough. Ooh, I'm going to use this for our pigs in a blanket. This stuff is wonderful. Okay. We got them. I got a whole bunch of them. They're the cheesy sausages. They're wonderful. I'm going to line them up on this. And we'll bake a couple off too, so you can see how nice they turn out. I like a thin rolling pin when I work with pizza dough. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to roll this up in a nice ball. You don't need flour. It is not going to stick to anything. Now, we're going to I'm just going to cut some of these into chunks just to see how, if we need bigger, if we need more, smaller or less. Okay. Put all them right over there. Now you can either wrap these completely or you can do them in strips. Whatever you choose. Yeah, perfect. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these in strips. Which would mean I need my little knife to cut that in half. I'm going to move this back to the bowl. I need room to work. Okay. All right, now all I do is I take it like this and I just roll it up. I suppose I could have made that a little bit bigger. So we'll do this one. These are fun to do. There we go. That's a better one. I'm just going to get it like this. And we're just going to roll it good. Beautiful. See how nice that does? And we just put them on our pan. All right, so we're going to take a little extra on this one. Let me put those right there so I have room. That's all I do. And just roll it out. perfect. Pinch that together, and there's our little, those are wonderful. We don't need that much. Okay, I'll do one more. And these turn out perfect. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to finish all these up. And I'll see you back here when I'm done. Okay, friends, I had enough to do all my sausage dogs. So what we're going to do is we are going to bake off 2 of these. One for me and one for Mr. Wayna. Oh, we got to give one to my neighbor. So we'll bake off 3. Because he'd like that. Oh, I got my oven just preheating. So, of course, I'm just going to set that aside. These are going to go in the freezer. We're going to cover them up. And once these are froze solid, then I can take them out and package them in Ziploc bags and they won't stick together. So that'll be good. Come on. So we're just going to give these a nice wrap and I'll put them in the freezer. Okay. So I'll be right back because after we're done with this, we should probably be able to do our, we can do our focaccia bread. And we'll do some cinnamon swirl bread. Beautiful. These are going in the freezer. Okay, friends, we're going to do our cinnamon swirl bread. And this is real easy. And what I'm going to use, if you're only going to do 1 loaf of this, you know what? I'll just put it in the description box. I'm doing a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You would use a 1/4 cup for 1 loaf. I'll say that. Okay, and with that, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And of course, with 1 loaf, you would do 1. So if you're making pizza dough, for your to make frozen pizzas, and you got some left over, or you want to make a loaf of bread, this is a perfect thing to make. This stuff is wonderful toasted, and it's also wonderful for French toast. Our oven's going. So we're going to put our pigs in a blanket in there. And we're going to time that for about 15 minutes. All right. Good to go. I'm going to mix this up. I want it all mixed. You want this incorporated real well. Okay, there we go. Now, let me put these away. Get them out of our way. Okay, friends, this is grand. And I'm also going to need my rolling pin. Ooh, look at how beautiful that dough is. Just simply gorgeous. Perfect for 2 loaves. Okay, we're just going to cut it in half right here. We're going to set 1 over there. And we're just going to start rolling this in a nice square. Or rectangle, excuse me. The best that you can. Okay? In fact, I'm going to stick that back in that bowl. You don't want it too much wider than your bread pan because you'll have a heck of a time getting it in there and having it all look nice. Okay. All right, so that's good enough. Right there. Nothing perfect, but it's nice. Okay, so what we're going to do, I got my bread pan sprayed. That's going to roll all over the place. And I've got it lined with parchment paper, and that's what I like to do with them. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to divvy this up in half, but we're just going to cover most all of this except a little piece on the edge. And I've got it up here that we're going to leave somewhat bare. Okay, beautiful. All right, that is good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rolling it this way. You don't want it real tight, but you don't want it loose and sloppy either. Just start rolling it nicely. Okay, and then when you get up here, you can pinch these edges. Beautiful. Form it a little bit if you can. All right, put together. It's going in our pan. Perfect. All right, we'll do the other one. One more. It stretches very easy, so you can stretch it and you just roll. And it'll roll very easy for you. So you can almost stretch it by hand. Pizza dough is wonderful. Okay. Perfect. See how that is? Easy peasy. All right. Leave that top edge bare. And that's what you're going to pinch it together with and seal it up. All righty. We got it. Beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start rolling this. Don't roll it sloppy loose, just a little on the tight side, but not too tight. Pinch the seams. You can turn it over and make sure it seals and put it in your bread pan. Beautiful. See those two gorgeous out of pizza dough, friends. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to cover these up with a towel while our pigs in a blanket are cooking. I'm going to clean up this mess, and then when that's done, we can get this in the oven and work on our focaccia bread. Okay, friends, look at our focaccia bread. It is ready to go. That, friends, is beautiful. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my focaccia bread with onions and tomatoes. And I'm just going to spread it on here. Okay? This is all I do. You can put whatever you want on it. You could even leave it plain. It's good for making sandwiches too. But I love lots of onions. Beautiful. Get these little scragglies here. Okay. Now, I also got these gorgeous onions, gorgeous tomatoes. And I'm just going to lay those around. When we dimple this, that's when we will mix this stuff in. We'll push it in. Let me do this one too. Lots of tomatoes and onions. That's what we like. That's what my friends like too. Okay, there we go. We're just going to put them all around here. All right. So we've got that. Now, I need to rinse my hands off. Our bread's out of the oven and our pigs in a blanket are out of the oven. So you'll be able to see those in just a minute. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a nice amount of olive oil on this. That's beautiful. If I had garlic, I'd put that on there too. I'm also going to do a little bit of Italian seasoning. Somebody screamed at me for saying Italian. So please tell me, how is it pronounced? I mean, I know I got a Midwestern accent, but I is I. Anyway, all right. We're going to go ahead. You're not going to get this and squish your fingers all the way to the bottom. You're just going to get in here and dimple this and push this all in. Beautiful. See that? Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Push your tomatoes down in there. And that, friends, is beautiful. This is going to go in a 425 degree oven for just about 20-25 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, because I do have a huge pan of focaccia dough. That's not quite ready yet. It's only at 338. We need to let that get to 425. This is going to be gorgeous. I'm going to get this in the oven. When it's done, I'll bring you back and we'll see everything we did. Well, there we have it, friends. We got 3 beautiful recipes out of 1 pizza dough. We got the gorgeous cinnamon, not pull-apart bread. This is cinnamon swirl bread. And we'll cut into it so you can see how beautiful that turns out. There is our little pigs in a blanket that turned out beautiful. The others are in the freezer. And then our focaccia bread with a missing slice. My son-in-law stopped by. Of course, this is real life. And he was like drooling over this, so I had to give him a slice on the way home. But I'm going to show you just how beautiful this turned out. And this is still quite warm. Okay. Look at that gorgeous focaccia bread. Golden top, golden crispy bottom. Just absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to cut a little piece off here because I don't want the whole thing. And it's delicious. And soft. How wonderful is that? And you could dip it in a little marinara sauce, ranch dressing, whatever. It's beautiful. Okay, we'll set that aside. That is good. That bottom is nice and crisp and beautiful. Our little pigs in a blanket. We'll cut this in half and show you how nice that looks. Those I bet are wonderful too. We'll try a little piece. I'll try a slice. These are the cheesy sausage too. The grandkids are going to love them. That is so good. So good, friends. Beautiful. Okay, now. I'm going to cut into this gorgeous piece. I'm going to set this up here this way. Then I can put this over here so you can still see this gorgeous breads. My little focaccia bread can go right there. Look at how soft this is. Soft and beautiful. Look at that gorgeous swirl in there. I'm telling you, this would be wonderful with, I'm going to save this and I'm going to use this for French toast. That's what I'm trying to get out of my mouth. French toast. This would be wonderful, that. Or even toasted in your toaster. Beautiful, and I'm telling you, just delightful. All these are wonderful. And you can make all this, friends, out of a simple pizza dough. Wonderful. The sky's the limit. You can make much more. You can make regular bread. You can make rolls, garlic knots, cinnamon rolls. Do just as well with pizza dough. So many things you can make with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the recipe in the description box, friends. And I'll put a recipe for a single batch. And you can make that single batch and just try different things with it. It's wonderful. You can't fail. Because if it doesn't work, make fry bread with it. So there you have it, friends. I hope you enjoy these recipes. Thank you for hanging out with me in the kitchen. I'll see you in the next video, friends. And as always, thanks for watching. Ketchup and mustard. Oh my goodness, the grandkids are going to love this. You can mix mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup together. Oh, it's wonderful. They're going to like that, friends. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to finish this outside because it's hotter than the blazes in here from baking all day. this. Your family's going to love